Hello student, today we are going to study NCERT class 8 Political Science chapter 1 the Indian Constitution. This is the second part of the video. In the previous video what you have learned, what is constitution, why we need a constitution, who is the father of the constitution, why there is a need of a constitution, and why we have to frame or drafting the constitution. That all the things we have learned, like what we have discussed is that, like in your primary classes, in your class 6 and 7, you heard about the word the constitution, what the constitution is, when we adopted our constitution, why we need to frame or draft the constitution, because any of the country they need a written rules by which the people can learn how we have to follow the rules. If there is no rules, nobody can they have a certain kind of, you can say, a good or the bad behavior. If there is no rule, they can do whatever the things used to come in their mind, they can do anything. They used to move, or you can say that they can do anything freely. If there are the certain kinds of the rules, that they have that fear that if they used to commit any crime, they have to go towards the jail, they have to maybe they have to like live in the jail for like 10 years, maybe the 7 years, maybe you can take they have to live in the life imprisonment. So these are the certain things that we have to make the constitution to give each and every individual a chance, whether you are in the majority, whether you are in the minority, each and every person have the equality, have the chance to learn the things, like each and every person is important. So in the previous video we learned all these things. Now in this video, the points we have to cover. The first thing is the Indian Constitution key features. The first one is the federalism. Second one is the parliamentary form of the government. Third is the separation of the powers. Fourth is the fundamental rights, or you can say the most important, or the soul, or the heart of the Indian Constitution, and the secularism. So these are all the key features we are going to learn in this video. So let's start with this. Like we discussed about the Nepal, that in the Nepal, how earlier it was the monarchical country, then after it became the democratic country. Then earlier in the 2007 they using the interim constitution. After that they made their own constitution. So these are the things we have learned, that who is the father of our Indian constitution? That is B.R. Ambedkar. How he made, how like the challenges they face, and how the leaders have discussed, what the articles they have include. So these are the certain things which we have learned. We discussed about the different stories about the teacher, about the students, about the majority of the boys and the minority of the girls. To discover what the games they have to play. We are used to come to know on this. Now come to the important part, that is the Indian Constitution and its key features. You can see the first this picture. This one, it's given the Sardar Patel is over there. There was an extraordinary sense of unity amongst the member of the Constituent Assembly. Each of the provision of the future constitution was discussed in the great detail, and there was a sincere effort to compromise and to reach the agreement through the consensus. The above photo shows the Sardar Patel, a prominent member of the Constituent Assembly. Like when a constitution become, after the drafting of the constitution, the people or the leaders have that feeling, now we are in unity, like now we are all equal, that we have made our constitution. This is a picture of that time. Now it starts from page number 10. By the beginning of the 20th century, the Indian national movement had been active in the struggle for the independence from the British rule for the several decades. That is at most true, that the British used to rule over us more than 200 years. In the early 20th century, we started to fight with, or to fought with the Britishers, that we want the independence. There are the number of freedom fighters and number of the leaders, they used to came and they used to do the reforms, they used to do the revolution, that we want the independence. During this period, the struggle the nation had devoted a great deal of the time imagining the planning what a free India would be like. Now the leaders have thought that what kind of free India would be. So they're thinking that we have to draft, or we have to frame the constitution. Under the British, they had been forced to obey the rules, that they had a very little role in making the long experience of the authoritarian rule under the colonial. Because in the thing is that जो ब्रिटिशर्स ने रूल्स बना रखे थे वो हमें जबरदस्ती उसको फॉलो करना पड़ता था, हम अपने रूल्स फॉलो नहीं कर पाते थे. द थिंग्स The rules which is made by the Britisher or the colonial, we have to follow that rule. We can't follow our rule, that the Indian rules. The long experience of authoritarian rule under the colonial state convinced India that the free India should be a democracy in which everyone should be treated equally, which I already explained in the earlier in the previous video, in this video as well, that what the leaders or what the revolutionary think that when we become free, the India should be equal. Each and every people should be treated equally, not like that the someone in the upper caste, someone in the lower caste. Where if we talk about someone is in the minority, someone in the majority, each and every individual is treated as equal. So these are the things which is mentioned over there. Then what remained to be done, and then what was to work or out of ways in which the democratic government would be set up in India and the rules that would be determine its function. This was done not by the one person but the group of around 300 people. Think about it, when we drafting our constitution, we do not want only the one person, we include like there are the total members are of 300, that is not ideally one. If we talk about further, who became the member of Constitutional Assembly, that is in 1946, who met periodically the next 3 years to revise the constitution. Like for the drafting of the constitution started in 1946, and finally we got our final constitution, that is on 26 November 1949. So the member of the Constitutional Assembly had the huge task before them. The country was made up of the several different communities because a country divided into different communities, different language, different religion. So there are the conflicts or they have the different ideas that how we come to the United. This is the task in the front of the leaders, that how we make our constitution. So that the country was made up of several different communities who spoke different language, belonged to different religion, and had the distinct cultures. The culture that doesn't mean the religion. Yes, that is true that the religion used to come under the culture, but there are the different words which used to come in the culture. Also, when the constitution was being written, India was going through the considerable turmoil. The partition of the country into the India and the Pakistan was the immense. Some of the princely states remained undecided about their future. What the trying to say is, after the independence, India is not united; it's divided into princely state and the provinces. Well, the Sardar Patel has played an important role to unite India, by which whether India become the united. So some of the princes still remain undecided about their future, and so the socio-economic condition of the vast mass of the people appear dismal. All of these issues played on the minds of the member of the Constitutional Assembly as they drafted the constitution. They rose to the occasion and gave this country a visionary document that reflects a respect for the maintain the diversity while preserving the national unity. Means irrespective of we are diverse, but we are united. Means we in the real sense world, भले चाहे हम लोग अलग हैं, but what we are equal. Irrespective of we are the different, but we are considered as the united. So the final document also reflects the concern of eradicating the poverty. In the front of this, the first point is the eradication of the poverty through the socio-economic reform, as well as the emphasizing the crucial role the people can play in choosing their representatives. Some of the people have the duty to choose their representative. You can see the picture of the B.R. Ambedkar over here, and downside there is the things that they have. Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar is known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Dr. Ambedkar believed that his participation in Constitutional Assembly had the scheduled caste get some safeguard in the draft of the Constitution. But he also stated that although the law might exist, scheduled caste still had the reason to fear because the administration of this law were in the hands of caste of Hindus officer. Therefore, urged the scheduled caste to join the government as well as the civil services. B.R. Ambedkar is the father of the Indian Constitution. He include that scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people should participate in the government as well as the civil services. If you talk about what the civil services is the you can say the Indian Administrative Service, or the work which is done by the collector at the administrative level. So these are the things where upper caste people, the lower caste people, the scheduled caste people, the scheduled tribe people should get the chance to participate or to get the employment in the government sector as well as in the the civil services. So he had that after drafting this, the Constitution Assembly He also stated although the law might exist, the scheduled caste shall have the reason of the fear because scheduled caste और scheduled tribe people के दिल में या फिर उनके ये डर रहेगा क्या जब ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बन जाएगा तो हमें जॉब मिलेगी या नहीं। तो उन्होंने शेड्यूल कास्ट और शेड्यूल ट्राइब के लिए स्पेशल आर्टिकल्स रखे। यस, दिस पीपल शुड गेट दी opportunity to get the employment in the government sector as well as in the civil services. Now we talk about the first point, the first key, which is the federalism. What the federalism is, this refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. Yes, you have read in the previous classes in class 6 and in the class 7 that we are not having the one type of or the one form of the government. We have the three levels or the three tier of the government. The first is the union level or you can say the central level. Second is the state government. The third is the local government. The first tier is union or you can say the central. Second tier is the state government. The third tier is the local government where we used to include the panchayats, the you can say the Jilla Parishad, all this stuff that used to come in the federalism. That the Panchayat Raj is the third tier. Now you have already studied in this class 6 and 7. The vast number of communities in India meant that the system of the government needed to be devised that did not involve only the person sitting in the capital city of New Delhi. Yes, that is true. Is this possible that can one man can go everywhere and he or she can see what the things are going on happen in the country? क्या ये पॉसिबल है कि जो दिल्ली में बैठा हुआ इंसान है हर जगह जाके वो देख सकता है कि क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं? So they made the three tier of the government. The first one is the union government, which they can see whatever happen in the whole country. If they talk about the state government can see the what is going to be happen in the state. If we talk about the state government or the local government, the third tier of government, that is the local government, he or she can see what is going to happen in the local level. So by the people participation they can say that what the things are going on in our country, how they help our country and how we can develop our more country. यानी हमें इससे ये पता चलता है कि लोगों के पार्टिसिपेशन से यानी जब हम जो लोकल लेवल पर स्टेट लेवल पर और सेंट्रल लेवल पर जो पार्टिसिपेशन होता है उसमें क्या होता है काम सब में डिवाइडेड हो जाता है और कंट्री की प्रोग्रेस कंट्री का डेवलपमेंट कंट्री का सोशल इकोनॉमिक पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट काफी अच्छे से होता है। तो ये फेडरलिज्म में क्या कहा वी आर नॉट हैविंग द वन फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट वी हैव द थ्री tier of the government in which we are following. So this is what we call the federalism. Instead, it was important to have the another level of government in the state so the decision could be made for the particular area. Well, each state in the India enjoys the autonomy. Yes, ये बात truth है. That is, this is the fact that union government having their own powers, state government having their own powers, or the local governments they're having their own powers. In the perfect English, the word is the autonomy, where they're enjoying the powers what they have. That doesn't mean that the central government is interfering in the state government work or state government is interfering in the local government. If they're doing something wrong, then the government have a right, the union government have a right, the state government have the right that they can interfere in the dam. If they are doing any good work, so none of the government, like whether we talk about the union, whether we talk about the state, none of the government have a right to interfere in their work. So this is the autonomy they have, they can enjoy their powers. So what each state in India has autonomy and exercising power on the certain issue, subject of national concern requires that all the states follow the laws of the central government. And they used to follow all the rules which is made by the central government. All the state have to follow, all the local government have to follow. The constitution contains the list that the details the issue that each tier of the government can make the laws on. In addition, the constitution also specifies where each tier of the government can get the money from the work that it does. Means whatever the work they do, they used to get the money after that. Under the federalism, the state are not merely agent of the federal government but draw the authority of the constitution as well. Means ये सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट का ही काम है, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का भी काम को करते हैं. All the person in India are governed by the laws. जितने भी person है, starts from the first person of the first citizen of India, that is president, till the poor people, all used to come under or in front of the law and the policies मेड बाय ईच द लेवल ऑफ दी गवर्नमेंट। भले चाहे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने कोई रूल्स बनाया, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने रूल्स बनाया, लोकल गवर्नमेंट ने रूल्स बनाया, वो सारे रूल्स के अंडर starting from the first person to till the poor people, each and every individual come in front of the law, and there is different policy. You can see this picture how the people used to give the vote on this page. You can see this. And when the Constituent Assembly adopted the principal universal adult franchise means, which we have already discussed in the class 6 and 7, the universal adult franchise means where the person is able, or the particular individual is up to the age of 18, he or she can able to give the vote. Like the particular country is having the different age scenario, but in India, if the person is above the 18 years of age, or he or she is having the voter ID, or he is eligible to give the vote. So the principle of the universal franchise, sir, A.K. Iyer, a member, remarked that was done with an abundant faith the common man and the ultimate success of the democratic rule, and the full belief that the introduction of the democratic government on the basis of utter suffrage will bring the enlightenment to the promote of well-being, the standard of life, the comfort and the decent living of common men. Means how to every individual have the right to give the vote, and they can choose their representative, what kind of representative or what kind of leaders they want. So the photograph shows standing in the cast to cast their vote. The people are standing in the downside to cast their vote, or in the simple English you can say to give their vote. Now come to the second form of the key features of the Indian Constitution, that is parliamentary form of government. We have the two houses, that is the upper house and the lower house. But in the lower house, that is the sorry, the Lok Sabha, where the people used to give their vote, then they elect or they choose their own representative in the Lok Sabha election. If we talk about the state level, that is the legislative assembly election, which is going to be held in every 5 years, where we choose our PM, that is the Prime Minister, and every 5 years we are choosing our Chief Minister by giving the this election. The parliamentary form of government is different tiers of the government that you have read in the class 7th, like from the story of Kanta, who was standing in line to vote during the election, that you can recall it, the story of Kanta, how she in the morning she used to stand in a line where every status, means whether it's a rich or poor, every person is standing in a queue and they're casting their vote. There is not any kind of discrimination, because the people used to stand in a line or stand in a queue to give the vote. There is not any kind of you can say the differentiation whether that you are the rich or you are the poor. When they were making the constitution, the member of the Constitutional Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the mass universal suffrage, that it would have the encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of the traditional caste, class and gender hierarchy. इसमें ये मानना था पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में, क्योंकि हमने आज़ादी की लड़ाई इतनी लड़ी है, इतना ज़्यादा हमने सब कुछ सहन किया है, तो जिसमें हमें कास्ट के बैरियर्स को जेंडर बेसिस पर जैसे चलता था कि बॉयज को ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देना चाहिए, गर्ल्स को नहीं देना चाहिए, फिर जो हिरार्की चलती थी कि लाइक माय ग्रैंडफादर देन माय फादर देन मी एंड देन माय लाइक जनरेशन, इस तरह के हायरार्की को खत्म करना चाहिए, अपर कास्ट और लोअर कास्ट के सिस्टम को, वो हर चीज को क्या करना चाहिए, खत्म करना चाहिए। तो लोगों को ये आइडिया आ चुका था कि हमें यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइजी की जरूरत है। सो this means that the people of India have the direct role in electing their representative. हमारा direct role है, हमारा representative, या in the other words we can say to choose our leader. It's our own direct responsibility, you can say, or you can say the correct word is the right to give or to cast our vote and to elect our representative. So also every citizen of a country, irrespective of his or her social background, यानी वो किसी भी बैकग्राउंड से आता है, उसका पूरा हक है, उसका पूरा राइट है वोट देने का, can also consent in election. This representative accountable to the people, यानी जो कोई भी नेता बनेगा वो completely accountable. Accountable का मतलब वो ये होता है, वो जो कोई भी काम कर रहा है वो उसके जो जिस जिस नेता को हमने चुना है उसको हमारे पास पूरा हक है कि वो ये बता सके कि उसने क्या काम किया। तो दिस इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी to elect our representative, and on basis of that we can see that particular representative is accountable to the people, what they did, what they are going to do, and what kind of initiative they are taking for the people. So this feature we can see in the parliamentary form of the government. Now come towards the third form of government, that is separation of power. Like each and every individual having their own powers in the government, that according to the constitution that the three organ of the state, legislature, executive, judiciary. If we talk about the legislature, in legislature the government, the local government, state government used to come. Executive, we talk about the parliamentary form of government used to come. If we could talk about the judiciary, the court of like the Supreme Court, the High Court, and the Session Court, all the courts of the India that used to come under the judiciary. So these are the three important things in the separation of power in the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. Legislature refer to the elected representative. Legislature में वो आता है जिस लीडर को हमने चूज किया है. द एग्जीक्यूटिव स्मॉलर ग्रुप ऑफ द पीपल हु आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द इम्प्लीमेंटिंग लॉज एंड रनिंग द गवर्नमेंट. एग्जीक्यूटिव उसे कहा जाता है जो स्मॉलर ग्रुप का पीपल होते हैं, जो हमारा लॉज बनाते हैं और हमारा क्या बनाता है, गवर्नमेंट को रन करता है. तो मैंने आपको बताया कि लेजिस्लेचर में वो लीडर आते हैं, एग्जीक्यूटिव में हमारा जैसे कि हम ले सकते हैं लोकसभा एंड दी लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली, जिसको हम विधानसभा कहते हैं, जो कि स्टेट लेवल पे होता है. जुडिशरी जो कि पूरे इंडिया के जितने भी कोर्ट हैं, starts from the first that the Supreme Court, second one you can take the High Court, and third one you can take the Section Court. ये सारी चीजें उसमें आती हैं. In order to prevent the misuse of the power, the one branch of the state and the constitution say that each of these organs should exercise the different powers. These three, like executive, legislature, executive, judiciary, have the separation of the powers. They can enjoy what the powers they had given. So through this, each organ act as a check on the other organ of the state that ensure the balance of the power between all three. Right? Yes, there is the balance between all these three. That be it a legislature, be it a executive, or be it a judiciary. You can see this side a picture where members of the Constituent Assembly feature the executive might become too strong and ignore its responsibility to the legislature. The assembly therefore include the number of provisions in the constitution. They made the number of provisions to limit the control, the action taken by the executive branch of the government as a whole. Means they have to divide the powers among the governments that they can control their action and take the executive branch of the government as a whole. You can see this blue box. What is the meaning of the sovereign is, which was included in our constitution, that the word state is often used in this chapter. The state, that doesn't mean we are talking about the state. Here the state means the country. So that does not mean the state government. Rather than when we use the state, we are trying to distinguish it form of the government. The government is responsible for administrating and enforcing the laws. Yes, government is responsible for making the law then enforcing it. Means government का काम है कि कानून को बनाना और फिर उसको regulate करना या फिर उसको enforce करना. The government can change with the election. Yes, that is true. Every 5 years, the government is going to change. We don't know whosoever used to come. Maybe if we talk about the political parties, like right now there is a BJP. Maybe after 5 years, some other parties used to come. Whosoever used to come, maybe the Congress used to come. Maybe the BJP used to come. Maybe the other parties used to come. It depends on the parties, or it depend on the government. If the government is doing the good work, so after the next 5 years, they used to come. If they are not doing the good work, then after next 5 years, they are not going to come. So the state, on the other hand, refers to the political institute represent the sovereign, the people who occupy a definite territory. We can thus speak of the Indian state, the Nepal state, etc. The Indian state has a democratic form of government. Yes, we are having a democratic form of government. The government, each one part of the state refers to the more than just government. It cannot be used interchangeably within it. Means a particular state having the like CM, he has the authority to regulate the rules or to enforce the law. That doesn't mean if, like, for example, Rajasthan having their own CM and the Gujarat is having their own CM. So Rajasthan government they do not have to right to interfere in the work of the Gujarat works, and the Gujarat government, if it didn't have the right to interfere in the राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट वर्क, यानी मतलब अगर हम टू स्टेट का एग्जांपल लें, जैसे कि दोनों के अलग अलग सीएम हैं, तो राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट का कोई हक नहीं है कि गुजरात के गवर्नमेंट के कामों में दखल अंदाजी दे, और यहाँ के जो गुजरात के गवर्नमेंट है उनका कोई हक नहीं है कि राजस्थान के गवर्नमेंट दखल अंदाजी दे। सबको अपनी एक पावर दी गई है जिससे वो अपना काम क्या कर सकें, खुद कर सके। Now come towards the main important thing is this one is the fundamental rights. Fundamental right is the utmost important part of this. The section of the fundamental rights has often been referred as the consent. What the consent is of the Indian Constitution. Colonial rule had created a certain suspicion of the state in the mind of the nationalists. They wanted to ensure that the set of written rights would guard against the misuse of the state power of independent India. Means यानी हमारे ऊपर जो ब्रिटिशर्स ने रूल किया था, तो हमें इससे पता चला कि हमें दूसरे के रूल्स को फॉलो नहीं करना चाहिए, हमें क्या चाहिए, खुद के रूल्स चाहिए, एक इंडिपेंडेंट चाहिए। फंडामेंटल राइट देयरफॉर प्रोटेक्ट द सिटीजन अगेंस्ट द आर्बिट्रेरी, मींस फंडामेंटल राइट्स जो हमें प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं एब्सोल्यूट, जैसे कि आर्बिट्रेरी एब्सोल्यूट एक्सेस ऑफ पावर ऑफ द स्टेट, मींस सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपना खुद का काम करे और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट खुद का काम करे। The constitution thus guarantees the right of individuals, means yes, ये हमारा हक है, wherever we go, wherever we are going of any of the place, we have a right to express our views, to express our idea। यानी हम कहीं भी जाते हैं, हमारे इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में मेंशन है, हम अपने आइडियाज को, हम अपने व्यूज को कहीं भी एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं, हमें फुल्ली फ्रीडम है, किसी का कोई हक नहीं कि हमें रोक सके अगेंस्ट द स्टेट एज वेल एज द अगेंस्ट एनी अदर इंडिविजुअल। यानी हम अगर स्टेट के अगेंस्ट लड़ना चाहे तब भी कर सकते हैं, और किसी इंडिविजुअल के अगर लड़ना चाहे तो भी कर सकते हैं। नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट, मोर ओवर द वेरियस माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटीज ऑल्सो एक्सप्रेस द नीड ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इंक्लूड द राइट दे हैव प्रोटेक्ट देयर ग्रुप। यस, ये भी ट्रुथ है। द पीपल, यानी जो द पीपल हु बिलोंग फ्रॉम द माइनॉरिटी, यानी जो लोअर कास्ट से बिलोंग करते हैं या शेड्यूल कास्ट शेड्यूल ट्राइब से बिलोंग करते हैं, उनका भी पूरा हक है कि उनको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में क्या दिया जाए, हक दिया जाए। Then we talk about the constitution therefore also guarantee the right of the minority against the minority, means the constitution also guaranteed that the majority people can't go against the minority, means यहाँ पे मेजोरिटी को कोई हक नहीं है कि वो माइनॉरिटी को परेशान करे, अगर वो परेशान करेंगे तो उनको क्या दिया जाएगा, उनको सजा दी जाएगी। डॉक्टर अंबेडकर हैज सेड अबाउट दिस, द फंडामेंटल राइट देयर ऑब्जेक्ट it's of twofold है, that is the twofold means the first object is every citizen must be in the position to claim those rights, and the secondly this right must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make the laws, means that the right must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make the laws, means सारे जो लॉज बनाए गए, जो सारे जो रूल्स बनाए गए, उसमें ये देखा गया है कि हर इंसान उस रूल्स को, उस रेगुलेशन को फॉलो करना पड़ेगा, वेयर majority and the minorities are the equals. The addition of the fundamental rights, the constitution also has the section called the DPSP, the short form, and the full form is directive principle of the state policy. This section also designed the member of Constituent Assembly to ensure the great social economic reform, means इसमें ये भी हक दिया गया कि अगर हम सोशल और इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म यानी जो चेंजेस लाना चाहते हैं वो भी हम कर सकते हैं। एंड serve as the guide of the independent India state to institute the law and policy that help to reduce the poverty of the masses, यानी हमें ये भी हेल्प करता है कि किस तरह से हमें पॉवर्टी को रिड्यूस करना है और masses को रिड्यूस करना है। फंडामेंटल राइट व्हिच आई ऑलरेडी सेड इट्स अ हार्ट और इट्स the important feature of India, where it states that we have the right of equality, right of freedom, right against the exploitation, right against the religion, culture and educational right, right to the constitutional remedy. This we are going to discuss in detail in the third part of this third part of the video of this chapter, in which we will going to discuss this thing in detail. What is the equality, what is the right of education, what is do you mean by the exploitation, what is the right of freedom, and what do you mean by the constitution remedies. This we are going to discuss this, and the last point which is that is the secularism, that we are also going to discuss in the third part of this video. So far you have learned in this chapter about the Indian constitution's key feature. First we have learned the federalism. Federalism means not a one kind of form of government. We have the different kind of government. That is the first tier government, second tier government, third tier government. In the first tier government, who used to come? The union government, or you can say the central government. In second tier government, who used to come? That is the state government. If we talk about the third tier government, in which they used to come, the local type of the government. Now if we talk about the parliamentary form of government, who are the parliamentary form of government? That are, they have the different powers, like the central government have their own autonomy, state government have their own autonomy, local government their own autonomy, where they can where they can make their rules, and they have the right to enforce that rules, that they, each and every individual can that follow the rules. So these are the things, or these are the particular scenario which can enforced by these people. Now the third tool we have discussed, that the separation of the power. There are the three things: legislature, executive, and judiciary. In the legislature, which government used to come, where we have elected or where we have to choose our representative, that used to come in legislature. If we talk about the executive, that used to come the people who make the law and to enforce the law. It means we're talking about the Lok Sabha or the lower house, that used to come in legislature. If we talk, sorry, that used to come in executive, not in legislature. If we talk about the judiciary, there are come used to come the three, all the courts of the India, be it a Supreme Court, be it the High Court, or we get the Session Court, all the judiciary work used to come in the judiciary, that we have used to talk about. And we used to talk about the brief, the fundamental rights, that is right of education, right of equality, right of freedom, right of religious belief, right of talk. So this all the points we have covered in this video. We are going to discuss further in detail in the third video. Thank you. I hope you like this video.